what I just saw in that presentation, God, I can't wait. Welcome everyone to Press Start. My name is Darcy and I hope you're all having a wonderful week. The keynote presentation for Unreal Engine just happened yesterday and I watched it late yesterday, so that's why this video is going to be going up today, which actually at the time of recording is tomorrow. But anyways, I watched the whole 37 minutes of the presentation, checked it all out, and let me just say, as a gamer, man, am I excited to kind of see what comes out of this whole thing. But before I get into my thoughts, if it's your first time to the channel or you're returning for a second video, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can be notified of future videos. And if you like what I'm doing, give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below on what are you excited when it comes to Unreal Engine 5 and the games that can be. All of this really helps out with the YouTube algorithm and could potentially expand on what I'm able to offer in the future. So without further ado, let's get into the discussion. And let me just start off right away with, of course, those that know me, those that have been through here and the channel know I am not a game developer. So some of the things that they talked about, some of the details that they went into went right over my head. But what I did really like from what I saw is the thing that kept being a reoccurring theme throughout the presentation, which is developer efficiency. So it really sounds like what Epic Games really looked to do with Unreal Engine 5 is help with removing some of the burden or the cumbersomeness of trying to build games from Unreal Engine 4 and get rid of those so that people can make games in Unreal Engine 5. And at least what they showed, it seems to be like it's working, especially as many people know about the polygon system that they have in place. And I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but the amount of polygons that you can have in the games now in Unreal Engine 5 just seems so great with, of course, the detail and the tech demos that they've shown with the PS5 tech demo. Don't remember the name of it. Also, the one that has the big giant like robot that like shoots a laser out. And of course, the Matrix Awakens Unreal Tech engine that has been released that you can, of course, check out on PS5 and on the Xbox Series systems. And those polygons, the way that they're able to be created in this new one seems to be a lot easier for developers to make things and, of course, make it more realistic. Now, I am definitely in the category of gamers that don't entirely care about graphics. Of course, like I care to an extent, but I'm not one of those that it has to be hyper realistic or I'm not gonna play it. I play anime games, I play pixel games, I play low res games. There's just a wide variety. For me, content, the gameplay, and story are king. But graphics still, again, hold a part of gaming, and the future of gaming is how realistic can things be? How much can things turn into this grand scheme and how it approaches things? And of course, how realistic, as I said, can the game be to where you're like, wow, was that real? Was that shot with a camera or is that gameplay? As we've said all the time, is this a cinematic scene or gameplay? And we're seeing that blend really become more seamless when it comes to if it is a cinematic scene or if it is strictly gameplay. What I saw in there was really great. Of course, the lighting that's been talked about all the time, the lumen system or whatever, they showed off a lot of different aspects of how that can be changed and how you can adjust those things. And then they also showed off, of course, the way that things can be quickly adjusted when you are adding new things. I know, for the instance, they showed off in the tech demo Lyra, like this sphere ball and the light that can come off of it and how much you can adjust it and change it and how the light changed with when it hit the various platforms and surfaces inside the game. That's all really cool. Again, for me, the way that game developers can make games quicker, faster, push the limits is always going to be great. Now, I will say, of course, just because things can be made quicker does not necessarily mean that game development is going to speed up at all, because when you have the ability to do that, what do you always do? You try to push the limits more. So that may not eliminate crunch that happens at a lot of studios, a vast majority of studios, but hopefully it does eliminate a little bit of that crunch, or just game studios can still game plan for the game to take however many years or time that it takes to make, and it can still be spread out evenly so there isn't crunch when that time comes. The other thing that was really cool is that they released a lot of the tech demo assets for free. So, of course, they released all of what was in the Matrix Awakens tech demo out for free. The buildings, the cars, the people, the structures, all of that is for free for game developers to go and grab an Unreal Engine 5 and use in their systems, and of course be able to adjust it right there in the game, which is awesome. So it should help out a lot of indie devs who maybe don't have large budgets to make these pieces, or a lot of people on staff to make these pieces, that you can take these things and adjust them to fit your game and fit your style of what you're looking for, which again is really awesome. And that Lyra that I've mentioned earlier, oh yeah, by the way, that is also for free, the entire thing. And it is a playable game that if you really wanted to, you could literally download it, release it, and send it out for people to play right this second. They talked about they have a control type map, a elimination or a team deathmatch type system, and also this, they called it demolition or explosion, if I remember correctly. I don't remember exactly, but it's like a top-down view shooter standpoint. So maybe it could be almost like a twin stick shooter if you wanted to make it. That's really cool. Again, the way that this is getting rolled out seems to really be helping not only AAA developers but indie developers too. So I'm curious to see how many Lyra type of games are going to be rolling out and what adjustments are made from the various versions that we will be able to go and play. And I won't lie, I'm not a game developer, as I said, but I already told my wife I'm going to download Unreal Engine 5 and mess around with it. And who knows, maybe I'll have something out there, even if it's really, really minor. They also announced a lot of course, as I keep reiterating, free aspects that you can go into if you are a game developer or want to mess around with it. I don't remember all the names of it. I did record some videos, so at this point I'll probably be putting some things over the top of here showing some of the things that they talked about, but I just know they talked about a number of free aspects that you can go in there, as well as like the human creation tools that looked really, really cool. And also, again, for indie developers, could be great for making more realistic looking humans in their video games, and also potentially help with some of the rigging of those systems and make them seem more fluid and more realistic like, instead of some of the clunkiness that does happen at times from indie developers, just because, again, they don't have the budget to put all those things in the system. Throughout the thing, they get to the end of the scenario or the end of the presentation, and then they started showing off some really cool aspects of who's all joining them. And I'm going to put, again, here an image of that. There's a lot. There's a lot up here. So, okay, you see on the screen, you may not be able to read all of them, but there's a lot right here. And some of them, though, that of course stood out and that we already know about is the Coalition from Xbox Studios, which I didn't know. They actually helped out with the Matrix Awakens tech demo. So that's really cool that they actually helped out with that. Also, CD Projekt Red. If you've been listening to the One More Game podcast, which if you haven't, go down into the description, go check out the podcast. We always post a new episode every Friday. But we talked about the agreement that CD Projekt Red and Unreal Engine or Epic Games signed, so that the new Witcher game that has been announced, of course, is in development. We don't know when it is coming out or what the title is, but that is being developed in Unreal Engine. CD Projekt Red is abandoning the Red Engine, at least for that game. Who knows for future games and if they're going to restructure the Red Engine, but that's coming out in there. And then one thing that was, of course, a shocker, I guess not too much of a shocker, but it's still a shocker since it was announced, is that a new Tomb Raider is coming from Crystal Dynamics, and it is being made with Unreal Engine 5. So that is really cool that you are going to be experiencing Tomb Raider, which already is a phenomenal game in how its presentation is and how it looks. Again, full disclosure, I have not played it, but just at least from video purposes and from the reception of people, it's a well-developed and well-beloved type of game and series that it is coming in Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 5 in its early access stage has been out for about a year now. So here shortly, I would say probably in the next year or so, we should be seeing more games coming from Unreal Engine 5. We'll likely still get a number of tech demos and tech demonstrations and maybe small indie games that are very, very short coming out from Unreal Engine 5, trickling out over the next few months up until that first big AAA release, which I don't think one is announced yet that's coming out from Unreal Engine 5, but I could be wrong. But again, as a gamer, this is really cool. Don't know much about the finer details that they said. I'm not even going to try to. Like I said, went right over my head. But for gaming purposes, this is really cool. I really hope that this ends up being a great thing. I mean, it will be, of course, in the long run, but just in general, I hope this is a really great thing for developers in helping them realize their vision for their various projects, not just in video games, as they mentioned in the broadcast, but of course, as well as in TVs, movies, animations, things of those natures, because it sounds like Unreal Engine 5 is gonna be great. But that is pretty much the summary of the Unreal Engine 5 keynote presentation, the State of Unreal 2022 keynote presentation, and my thoughts on that whole thing. But what did you think? Again, let me know down in the comments below. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and consider hitting that bell so you can be notified of every time that I post. Thank you once again for tuning into the video here at Press Start, and remember, as always, your gaming news starts right here.